I first want to discuss something that you wrote on your website, Scott Ritter Extra. You said, I no longer stand with Israel. Can you talk about that and briefly, or not briefly, just go into full detail, why you no longer, I guess, stand with Israel?
Well, I mean, look, I have to admit to my deficiencies as a human being, I guess. And that doesn't mean that I'm deficient for supporting Israel. I spent a lot of time in Israel. From 1994 to 1998, I was the lead liaison between the United Nations Special Commission and Israeli intelligence on issues of great sensitivity regarding Iraqi weapons of mass destruction. And I traveled to Israel frequently, and I fell in love with Israel. I mean, I love the Israeli people. I stopped traveling to Israel in 1998. Benjamin Netanyahu was the prime minister. So when this Gaza event exploded, it wasn't as though I had been sitting there following this stuff. I had peripherally, but it wasn't. And then you start digging into what's going on. Was this really what they called, this deliberate act of terrorism? Or was this a prison break? Was Hamas tired of, for 75 years, living in an open air concentration camp, being bullied? And the more you dig, the worse the answers get. Mm-hmm. And that happened to me. I started digging and digging and digging because I want to like the Israelis. I want to support the Israelis. I've been standing with them this entire time. However, if you kick a hornet's nest long enough, the hornets are going to come out and sting you. And Israel doesn't have any right now to cry. Not after what I've read, not after what I've learned, after what I've seen. I've been blind, just like many Americans have. 2014 should have woken us up as to what Israel was doing in Gaza. But we bought into the Israeli mystique. 2020, 2020, 2021, it's a never-ending cycle of Israel taking a front and punishing the Palestinian people. And if you dig deep enough, you realize that this is done on purpose. There is a policy, the Dahiwa policy. Mowing the grass is the official policy of the Israeli state. What does mowing the grass mean? Mowing down the civilians. They don't care about civilians. They're going to bomb them. They're going to slaughter them to try and break the spirit, not of the terrorists, but of the civilians. They want the Palestinians to stop resisting Israeli occupation. If the founding fathers of America were like that, we'd have stopped resisting British tyranny and there wouldn't be an America. But the founding fathers said, no, tyranny must always be resisted. And we fought a revolution to liberate ourselves. Do you understand the psychology of the Palestinians? Occupied people, those in Gaza looking out, watching the Israelis occupy the land that their fathers owned, that their fathers tilled, their grandfathers. Many of their grandfathers were slaughtered by the Israelis to kick the Palestinians out, what they call the Nakba, the catastrophe. The more you dig, the more you realize that the Israeli position is indefensible. So I'm late to the game. I admit it. I'm late to the Palestinian cause, but I'm in with full feet. And I'm not doing this with, shallowness. I used to be a friend of Israel. I'm not an enemy of Israel. I don't wish harm on the Israeli people. But I will tell you this, I will never put Israeli interests over the interests of the Palestinian people ever again. I am Team Palestine until which time they are given the dignity that they deserve as a people who must have a nation that stands equal with the Israeli nation and all other nations in the community of nations in the world.